I'm going to speak from my own experience for a minute. Do I want to do that actually? I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't know what it is, but like I have to have a goofy moment. And this is the goofy moment. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time joining me. I want to start this video off by saying that there are consequences of not being in the awareness of who you truly are. A lot of us don't have this inner, deeper understanding of who we really are, and we're operating from a place of ego. Not to say that there's anything wrong with being in your ego. It's necessary to be in your ego to be in this physical dimension. However, when you are constantly in your ego and it's coming from a place of not being aware of who you really are on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, that's when things get a bit sticky. I had a thought this morning that was, it's difficult to remain in your essence and in your authenticity when people keep introducing you to their ego. So many of us feel like we need to protect ourselves, we need to guard ourselves, limit how much of ourselves that we give to other people, how much of our resources, our energy, our money, all of these things, how much of that we are willing to give because we are in protective mode. Some of us have been hurt, some of us have been heartbroken, have been abused, have been taken advantage of, have had so many different things happen to us over the course of our lives, and therefore now we feel like I'm gonna go through life with a closed fist, a closed heart, a closed mind, so that nothing can infiltrate me, so that nothing can take from me again. We feel like we have to hold on to the little that we have and not give to anybody so that we can protect ourselves, so that we don't feel the hurt that we felt in the past. And when you do not take an active approach to healing from the things that have happened to you in the past, that is going to be your mindset. But here's the thing, if your hand is closed and your heart is closed, how can you receive? In your mind, you're thinking to yourself, I'm not going to give, I'm not going to share my resources, I'm not going to give my energy to other people, I'm focused on myself. And I'm not talking about the positive elements of doing that. I'm not talking about the positive side of pouring into yourself, self-care, self-love. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when it's coming from a place of I have to protect myself so that I don't get hurt again. When your hand is closed and your heart is closed, you are not in a position to receive. Yes, you're going to be able to keep what you have to yourself, but then how are you in a position to receive if your hands and your heart is closed? And I feel like, and I'm very mindful not to make this a divisive message, because I'm very much against the men do this, women do this, especially within the Black community. I feel like that narrative and a lot of the things that have been spoken about for the last, I don't even know, maybe even 5+ years, have not helped us within relationships and communion with one another in terms of men and women. But I feel like there are a lot of men, or there are a group of men who are refusing to do the work and are going through life, going through relationships, hoping on some level to attract somebody, but going into it with a mentality of, I'm not going to give too much. I don't want to lose myself in this. I'm not going to pour into somebody. I'm going to be mindful of what I'm doing, and I'm very annoyed because the video just cut off and I don't know where it cut off, so I'm just going to continue and hopefully I can piece it together. But I was basically saying that whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, because I'm just telling you what I've noticed, and obviously I'm a woman, so when it comes to relationships, dating, I'm in interaction with men naturally. So What you don't realize is that when you come from a place of trying to stop yourself from experiencing something, you've already lost. It's self-sabotage at that point. Because what is it you think you're going to happen if you come into a relationship, a friendship, anything? If you come into any situation thinking that I'm trying not to be hurt, I'm trying not to experience the pain that I experienced in the past, or I don't want to make this person feel too special, I don't want this person to take advantage of me, so I'm going to come into this situation half-heartedly, in protective mode, with my full armor on. How are you then expecting to connect with someone on a deep level? How are you then expecting somebody to trust you? If you've come into this setup deciding not to fully trust, how can someone else feel that sense of trust in your energy, in your company? And this is the thing, your trust is not in the other person. You think it's in the other person, but what it is actually identifying is where you do not trust yourself. It's not that you don't trust that person, it's that you don't trust yourself. The saying that talks about the bird doesn't trust in the branch to hold its weight, it trusts in its ability to fly. The trust is in its own wings. Whenever you are entering into a relationship with somebody, a friendship, a connection, whatever it is, your trust is not in that person, because with love, with relationships, with anything outside of yourself, there are no guarantees. No one is responsible for you, for your safety, for your emotional safety, for your security. You have a responsibility for yourself. You have a responsibility to protect yourself, yes, to have your boundaries, yes, and all of those things, but that is coming from a place of self-preservation, not from a place of, I don't want to be hurt again, I don't want to feel how I felt in the past. Do you see the difference? Even though it may look similar on the outside, it's very different. And you are trusting in your ability to open your heart, to open your hands, to open your mind, and to know that if this fails, if this doesn't work out, if this doesn't plan out to be how I expected it to go, I am okay. I am still safe. I am still secure in what? In who I am, in my wings, in my ability to fly. Why? Because I've done it so many times before. Because I can't fall and I can't fail. But because you never really allowed yourself to feel the pain of the past and to sit in that pain, be an observer of the pain instead of identifying with it and becoming it, because you were not able to detach from it and say, I'm not the trauma, I am not what happened, I am not the things that I've done, I am not the things that have been done to me. Because instead of doing that, you identified with it and you became a traumatized person, you became a victim, you became heartbroken, you fully embodied all of these things. You are now so afraid of feeling that again that you do everything within your power to avoid it. And in doing everything in your power to avoid it, you self-sabotage. You set yourself up to fail. You set yourself up to be heartbroken, because how can you enter into a connection without your heart open? How can you enter into a connection that requires a level of mutual trust? Yes, trust within self, but mutual trust, when you're already coming into it deciding that you won't trust this person, you won't trust the experience. And like I said, it's not even that you're trusting the person, you're trusting in yourself. There are no guarantees. Outside of yourself, there are no guarantees. If anything, you are more guaranteed to be hurt than you're guaranteed not to be hurt. When you go into a situation, you decide to open your heart, to share your life, to be vulnerable, to let your guard down, it's more likely that you're going to be hurt than you're not going to be hurt. So go into it expecting to be hurt and knowing that you will be okay. knowing that you can still work through it, rather than going into something trying to avoid feeling something that's inevitable. But it is your trust within yourself and within a strong awareness of who you truly are at your core that is your ultimate protection. What is it you're trying to protect yourself from? The inevitable? Feelings? Feelings that are a part of just being a human in this human physical experience in the world that we're living in? Is that what you hope to protect yourself from? That's like saying, I want to protect myself from the air, and you decide to live in a bubble. Where are you going to go where there's no air? Where there's no air, you'll die. And this is why so many of our relationships are not able to thrive and are not able to sustain any length of time, because they die. You're trying to put yourself in a bubble to protect yourself from everything and anything, and from feelings which are inevitable, and from feelings which are your own. No one can make you feel anything. These feelings are your own. So who are you even running away from? When you're running away from relationships, you're running away from connection, you're running away from yourself. And so beyond the ego, beyond the armor, the protection, what happened to you, the trauma, the victim mentality, the defense mechanisms, beyond all of that, do you know who you are? They say that the most powerful 2 words you can put together is I am, because whatever you put after that is basically true. Who you claim yourself to be is who you are. You are bound to see that show up in your reality time and time again, because that's who you identify as. Who do you say that you are? What do you put after I am? I am heartbroken. I am traumatized. I am a victim. Who is it that you say that you are? Are you a reflection of the Most High? Are you a personification of infinite intelligence, love? Are you abundance? Are you peace? Are you joy? Are you the traumatized little child of the past? Are you the heartbroken man, the person who was cheated on, the person who was abandoned by their parents? Who are you? Are you still choosing to project the past into the present and be who you have been and be what you have experienced and the things that you have tried to run away from? Or are you accepting of the things that have happened? Are you accepting of the human experience? That means sometimes we don't always get it right, but it's okay. You're not here to always get it right. If you were designed to always get it right, you would always get it right. You were not designed for that. And when you realize that who you think you are is just a conditioning, it's just a belief, it's just something that has been confirmed for you time and time and time and time and time again, that you decided to believe it. When you realize that you can believe something different. You can choose to identify with something different. You can choose to condition a different belief, a different knowing into you, so that you can therefore identify with that and embody that and see more of that in your reality. I love the idea that you are the temple of the Most High. You are the temple of God. The kingdom of God is within you. I love that so much, because it lets me know that beyond the physical, beyond what you can see with your eyes, beyond what you can feel on your skin, beyond what you can taste, beyond the physical, there is an infinite, a godlike essence. There is a consciousness, there is an awareness. And that for me is my protection. That for me is my freedom. That for me is my expression. I can show up and I can do the things I want to do, and I can love and I can give freely, because I know I have nothing to lose. Before I go, this is the last point I'm going to make. One thing that I see as a therapist time and time again with my clients is this fear of feeling. People try to avoid feeling something because they're so afraid of where that feeling could potentially take them. It's almost like they feel as if, and I can relate to this because I remember feeling like this. It's this belief that if I fully give into this feeling, I'm gonna literally go down to the pits of hell. I don't know where it's going to take me. It's going to be uncontrollable. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be so much darkness. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to dig myself back up from the pits of hell if I fully allow myself to feel this. And it's such a lie. Your feelings are not going to take you anywhere you don't need to go. On the other side of that is what you're actually looking for. And when we allow ourselves to just be in the feeling, and we like to label feelings as positive and negative, feelings are neutral. It's when you start to label them as positive and negative that you get into these defense mechanisms of, oh, I need to avoid this. I need to avoid feeling angry. I need to avoid feeling anxious. I need to avoid feeling sad. You don't need to avoid any of these feelings. Use them to help you to understand yourself better. When I know what makes me sad, I know what makes me happy. When I know what makes me angry, I know what I'm passionate about. When I know what makes me anxious, I know that maybe there's something I need to do. Maybe there's an action I need to take. You need anxiety. Anxiety is what you have when you're in the middle of the road and you see a car coming towards you and you need to make a decision. Do I need to run back? Do I need to stay where I am? Or do I need to run forward? Do I need to jump over the car? Do I need to drag my baby out the road? That is the purpose of anxiety. Anxiety is needed. Anger gives you the energy and the adrenaline to make a decision, to take action. When you see somebody being abused or somebody being mistreated or something happening to your children, the people you love and you care about, you feel angry so that you then have the energy. Something pushes you to move. That feeling pushes you to take action, to do something, to stand up, to say something, to speak up. Without all of these feelings, we would not be fully functioning in the world that we live in. These feelings are not something to be avoided, they're something to be embraced. They're not going to take you to the pits of hell. Allow yourself to sit in the feeling, to process it, and then you can stop being so reactive to everything and you can respond from a place of awareness, a place of embodied awareness. I know who I am. I'm okay with feeling any feeling that comes up for me because I know who I am. I know I can process this and in time I will be able to move forward. I don't have to fight. I don't have to avoid. I don't have to have my defenses up. And the thing is, when you live life like that, life sucks. I lived a life being so resistant, being so afraid to express myself, being I'm still a poker face. I definitely am still a poker face and I'm not super expressive in my emotions all the time, but coming from where I'm coming from, I have made so much changes and I can say I'm so much happier for it. Living in a place of disassociation and depersonalization, you're not living. You don't even feel real. And that's what happens when you disconnect from your experiences and you disconnect from your feelings, thinking that you can go through life like a robot. There's no connection there, there's no love there, there's no feeling, there's no shared sense of we're all having this experience and there's enjoyment in that and there's pleasure in that. You feel alone. Beyond feeling alone, you don't even feel like you're really here. And if you can't relate to that, I don't even know how to begin to explain to you how that feels. But this is just a reminder to come back to the awareness of who you truly are. So that's the message that I wanted to share today. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one.